Welcome to GIELTShelp.com's General IELTS Test Preparation videos. For lots more help with your upcoming exam to get those high band scores, visit and join our premium package at GIELTShelp.com. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. Now join me on part 3 of my official IELTS Band 9 journey. Today is test day. I am writing the official IELTS exam, starting with the speaking section at 10:20. Then from 1 in the afternoon until 4, I will be writing the listening, reading, and writing sections. I will explain my experience and give you tips and strategies so that you can also get these high band scores. Now watch and learn and do the exam with me. Since my speaking interview starts at 10:20 and I need to arrive to the exam center by no later than 9:45 so that I have some time to be familiar with my surroundings and hopefully find someone to practice a bit of speaking with, I woke up this morning at 6:30. It takes the brain at least 3 hours to reach its maximum function, so make sure to wake up early. I started my day with a shower, a tall glass of water, and a healthy breakfast. A chocolate milkshake with some hard-boiled eggs, a bit of toast, and some tomatoes and red peppers. This gives me lots of energy for my exam. Now, let me show you what I'm taking with me to my test. So this is my IELTS exam day kit to make sure that I can be comfortable and successful on my exam day. I prepared this the day before my IELTS exam. So now I just grab it and go. Let me show you what's included. Firstly, I have a bottle of water with no label. That's right, IELTS does not allow labels on drink bottles. As well, hand sanitizer with no label. Very importantly, I'm taking my Hungarian passport. I'm doing my exam in Budapest. And this is what I used to register for the test so that it's not obvious that I'm a native speaker of English. I'm leaving my Canadian passport at home. Of course, I'm taking my wallet and my mobile phone. And I'm taking 2 HB pencils, which are required for the paper-based exam. They're not needed for my computer-based exam, but I'm taking them anyway. And then I'm bringing a blue pen, as well as an eraser with no label. For some energy, I'm taking with me a chocolate bar. And if in case I get a dry, itchy throat or have a bit of a cough, I'm taking with me a throat lozenge. This is especially useful before your speaking interview. Now, because of COVID regulations, I'm taking with me a cotton gauze mask that is very comfortable and breathable. It's easy to speak in. I will put this on at least 30 minutes before the start of my speaking interview so that I can get really comfortable with it. And I have this neat little contraption which pulls the 2 loops behind my head so that it does not hurt my ears after wearing it for a long time. This is a really good idea for the 3-hour listening, reading, and writing part. And it's also good for traveling on a plane or on a bus for long periods of time. I'm taking an extra mask with me just in case. And last but not least, I'm taking with me some speaking questions in hopes that I can find a person or two to practice with before my speaking interview. Of course, I have my notes that I will review before my speaking interview. This is my strategy checklist to help me remember some key strategies just before I walk in and meet the examiner. In my case, making sure that I answer, give explanations and examples for the questions, making sure that I use the question in my answers. I buy time to answer when necessary, when I have to think about good ideas, as well as answering all of the questions on the cue card and thinking about 3 ideas for part 2 before deciding on the best one. All right, so I'm ready to go. Now let's leave for the exam. I'm now heading out for my exam. I have all of the items which I just showed you. My face mask is on. I'm confident, I'm ready, and I'm out the door. I'm wearing semi-formal clothing, a dress shirt, no necktie. Let's go. All right, here we go to the IELTS exam. There in 20 minutes with the Metro. So this is the perfect example of why you should leave for your IELTS exam a bit early. Right now, the Metro line is under construction, so it's only buses that are in place of the Metro, and that's going to definitely slow my trip up a few minutes. So again, this is why you should be prepared and leave a few minutes before your exam. So I'm just on the bus, and in my mind, I'm still going through all of the strategies, especially focusing on the ones on the speaking section right now, and concentrating on what I need to remember, like keeping in mind that the examiner is like my grandfather or my grandmother, so I have to speak loud and clear and in full sentences, and they don't know what I know. And these are the kinds of thoughts that are going through my head right now in preparation to sit my test. So now I have arrived at my exam center, 9:45. My speaking interview is at 10:20, so that gives me a solid 35 minutes to find someone to practice with. Now this is a minimum time that you want to arrive at your test center at, and I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to my exam, feeling confident. All right, let's do this. Okay, so here I am at the exam center, and I'm very lucky. I found someone to practice some speaking with before I go in, which is great. It's going to build my confidence. It'll get my fluency up. So here we go. This is Gage or Greg. Hi, Greg. Thank you for helping me out on this. Okay, so I'm going to give you a script that I brought with me. Okay, so there's some IELTS questions. I'm going to have the same. And then to be fair, we'll both ask each other questions. What is your full name?
My full name is Gage Bato, and just call me by my first name, Gary.
Gary? Okay, Gary. May I see your identification?
Yes, sure, it's in my bag.
Okay, that looks good. Here you are. And how are you feeling today?
Actually, I'm feeling really good, a bit nervous, but I'm really excited to do this examination.
Why are you doing this exam?
I need it for future university education.
Okay. And what helps you to relax?
Well, in order to online, I like to watch YouTube videos and maybe play piano.
Okay. Let's talk about paper and computer. How often do you write on paper?
Well, these days, during the pandemic, I haven't written that much on paper because I have the opportunity to write on computer, but I did before the pandemic. I was taking notes in class. What is better about writing on a computer?
Writing on the computer has several advantages. One of the primary advantages is having the spell check and grammar check software, so it's better to write more accurately. I know that for my emails and for official documents, I really like these functions. And of course, oftentimes it's much faster typing with 10 fingers as opposed to writing by hand.
Yes. When is paper more useful than a computer for writing?
Well, that's a good question. I suppose when electricity is unavailable, it's better to write on paper than on a computer. Also, the permanence of paper is a clear advantage. What I mean by that is when I write a note and put it in my pocket, it's always going to be there. I don't need to take out a device, turn it on, and check it. Yeah. So it's easier to remember information in certain cases on paper than with a computer. Do you like to read from paper or from the computer?
Well, obviously from computer, because if someone else writes on paper, even myself, I can't really read my handwriting or other else's handwriting. And computers are or computer written words and sentences are really easy to read in my opinion.
If you had to write a book, would you choose to do it on paper or with a computer?
Well, I would definitely use a computer because of the fact that I mentioned before, that I can erase anything that I want or put something else in the middle of a context or something.
Okay.
Have the way people write changed before because of the computer? In that what way?
I definitely think that the computer has changed people's writing styles and even their thinking while they're writing. It's very different to write with one hand as opposed to typing with two fingers on a screen. Also, because writing on the computer is faster, I think that there has been a lot more written information produced over the last, let's say, 50, 60 years. As we can see now on the internet, there are thousands of blogs and forums that people are writing every day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for helping me with this. I've definitely calmed down a bit. I'm feeling more confident. I'm feeling fluent. I'm glad that my brain has now switched to English. And I got to go and do my exam because I think I have to go in. So, okay. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Good luck to you as well. I hope you get a great score and you have great English. So I'm sure you'll do really well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. All right, so I just got out of my speaking interview. I think it went well. The examiner asked me to introduce myself, asked me some questions about mathematics. Then speaking part 2 was about part of the city that I enjoy. And then there were some follow-up questions about cities, the city planning, the appearance of cities, the design of cities, and the function of cities. And that was it. It took about 12 minutes, roughly. And of course, it was recorded for marking purposes. Overall, I feel that it went well. I stuck to my strategies, answered all of the questions. We'll see how it went in a couple of weeks. All right. Now, I'm preparing for the sit-down part of my exam, listening, reading, writing. That will be from 1 till 4. I have to be back here at the exam center at about 12:30 for registration and depositing my belongings. So I'm going to grab some food, review my notes, do a bit of light reading, of course, keeping myself in English the whole way through. And then I will be back here. So continue to join me on this exam day, and I'll keep you posted on the tips and strategies. All right, let's do this. Okay, so I'm just making my way back to the IELTS exam center, and I'm getting ready to do the sit-down portion of the test, the listening, reading, and writing. I had a light lunch, some cauliflower with breadcrumbs, bacon bits, a little bit of sour cream, a slice of watermelon. That's just to keep the blood flow in my brain and not in my stomach. It's not a good idea to eat a heavy lunch or a heavy meal before sitting the exam. And of course, I hydrated well. Water is important. And now I'm looking forward to the rest of this test. So registration is coming up. And then within half an hour afterwards, at 1:45, I will begin the actual listening section. All right, let's do this. All right, so I'm now done my IELTS sit-down exam, the listening, reading, and writing section, after 3 hours. Pretty happy about that. Ceremoniously, I'm going to take the stairs down. Into the dark I go, and I will emerge on the bottom floor in just a moment here. One more. All right. I am officially out the door, and I'm happy for having completed the exam. The results will be available in about 5 days because it's the computer-based test. So the computer-based test, the results come a little bit faster. That's one of the advantages. Just a couple of quick tips that I got right off the bat from doing the test this time. For sure, during the listening and reading section, it's a really good idea to keep all of your fingers on the home row of the keyboard. Also, make sure to use the tab key to jump between questions. Try not to use the mouse. That will help you to catch the answers a little bit more. Definitely use the note paper or the registration or the passcode paper that's given during the different sections to take your notes, especially during the writing section. That's where that piece of paper that they give you to log in becomes really useful. Planning your task 1 and your task 2 essay. I found that to be very, very useful because using my hands to think of some ideas, so handwriting, is different than typing on the computer. Anyway, thank you for that. That was great. We'll do a bit of a follow-up, and in 5 days, when I get the results, I will certainly share them with you. Let's see how I did. Just returning home now after completing the IELTS exam. For the rest of the evening, I'm going to kick up my feet, rest, watch a movie, eat something delicious, fill my belly. You should do the same after you sit the test. You deserve it. You've worked hard for it, and you earned it. Did you enjoy this episode of my Band 9 IELTS journey? To see the next one right now, visit and join our premium package at gieltshelp.com. Subscribe to our channel. Click over here. Watch another video? Click right up here. And join our premium package. Click on our hero to practice your speaking, get videos, exams, and an interactive course.